Hey y'all, this is Brennan, and I'm making this video to kind of talk about my recovery from alcoholism, which is a really, really big part of my life, um, arguably bigger than transsexualism. I've been alcohol-free for a year and 2 days today, which is a really, really huge accomplishment, and it's very surreal, because I forget what it was like when I was out there. I tend to forget being a year away from it, and across the country from my old stomping grounds. I forget how bad it got. But last May I was on a roof in Brooklyn, and I didn't want to live, and I was blackout drunk, and I don't remember any of it, but it took like hours to talk me down. Yeah, I don't know, like it's so hard to talk about. Yeah, I wanted to die, and after that happened, I lost my boyfriend in that moment. I almost lost my life, and if that had happened then, I would have died a woman, would have been remembered as a woman. And it was kind of like that realization coincided with the death of someone who was kind of like the first peer that I had lost that didn't do drugs. Most of my friends that I've lost were ODs and things like that, where I'd already had some sort of closure around it. And it was really hard, like seeing somebody who had had this sense of urgency and did the kinds of things that I spent years talking about, just on impulse, to see her die in this really horrible random accident. Really lit a fire under my ass and kind of made me see that it should have been me. I had very little reason to be alive right now. I have been drinking really dangerously for a very long time. I'm a bender person, which makes sobriety really weird, because I'm the kind of person where I totally could have 2 beers, but then a week later I'll be having a sixer every night, and then I'll be on a bender. And for a while that was manageable. That was something I could do. I would go out and go crazy for a week or a weekend, or then it became a week, and then it'd be a few weeks, and then it would be months. My last bender lasted 4 months, where I was drunk every day. I'd wake up in the morning with a hangover, with the shakes. I would abuse my benzos to kind of steady myself. And then I would be drinking before I clocked out of work. And from then I would be at the bar by 5 and closing down the bar at 4 a.m. Usually heading to the package store after the bar was closed, drinking until sunup. And that was every day. Even if I had to work at 10 in the morning the next day, I would still be closing down the bar at 4 in the morning. It made me late to work. It cost me jobs. It got in the way of my life. The first step is admitting that that alcohol is making your life unmanageable. My life had become unmanageable. I was so unhealthy. I was underweight. My skin was awful. I wasn't eating. I was puking every night to avoid getting a hangover. I wanted to die all the time. Like I said, I was losing jobs. I had no financial security. I was blowing $100 at the bar every night. It was really bad. And then New York just isn't a safe place to drink like that. I would be waking up on the subway, deep in Brooklyn, in neighborhoods that I really have no business being in as a queer person. at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, like waking up in my bodily fluids on trains. Just situations I never saw myself being in would happen every night, but I would still drink. And like it seems like a no-brainer that like my drinking is the common denominator to like all the problems that are going on, like my unstable mental state, my inability to be honest in therapy, my like financial like instability. I think I just said that. But my drinking was the problem. Like I thought that I was drinking, like for a long time I thought I was drinking because I was unhappy, but really I was unhappy because I was drinking, which is something people tried to tell me for years. Like my parents always said, you want to fix your effing problems? Like stop drinking, like get sleep, eat well, get exercise. And like I was just like whatever, like I need something more than that. Like I need more, like I need like, philosophical truths. But no, like I needed sleep, I needed food, I needed to take care of my body and myself. And I think like this is where this does intersect with the transness, because like I think the big reason why there's a lot of substance abuse in the trans community is because like it's so hard to like be in your body, and it's so hard to come to terms with that every day. And using drugs and alcohol gave me that disconnect. It was a way of managing the disconnect between my body, either by replicating it or making it disappear. It was also a way for me to like be somebody I wasn't, like be really like outgoing and like all that stuff. Like that's always like the game you play. You have like alcoholics have like one drink and you're like social and funny and you're the life of the party, and then most people are able to stop at 2 or 3 when they're still like sociable and like but I would keep going until I would go from being like the life of the party and witty and like having great conversations to being like falling over and like punching a wall and like crying and screaming and on a roof, like that's where my drinking goes. And there's nothing I can do about that. And I pretended there was something I could do about that for years. Like I tried, switching to beer, like only having 2. I would like leave my ID at home so like I couldn't get into the bar, but like I go there every day so they know me and they have my drinks there for me when I walk in the door. Like it's just this like weird alcoholic reasoning. Like I remember like a week, not a week, like soon after I got into AA, my boyfriend and I got out of the subway, and there's like 2 different exits, and one's on the side of my house and the other was on the other side of the street, and I would always get out on the other side of the street. And my boyfriend's like, why do you do that? You have to like cross back over to get to your house. And I'm like, the bar's on that side. Like that's why I do that. It's just second nature at that point to get out on that side because that's where the bar was. And it's like I don't know, my life is like so different now. Like my anxiety levels are down. I'm calmer. Like there's ways that I always like dreamed of describing myself that I actually can describe myself as these days. Like I can describe myself as positive, as calm, as confident, as wise. Like and these things are actually true. Whereas before they seemed like lies because they were. Because like I could say all day like, oh, I'm wise and I'm like, responsible and I have things of value to say, but it's like, but you're like wasted all the time, like, and I really had no gauge while I was drinking of like, the way my actions affected other people. Like I was, a really abusive partner. I was a really, awful child. I was, I hurt a lot of people, not only through the consequences of my drinking and like bad fights that would happen when I was drunk, or just like destroying my health, which is like something that any parent is going to resent their child for. I was so like angry, and like that's what alcoholism turns you into. I was this like, because it's not just the drinking, it's like this like spiritual like illness where like I was just angry all the time. I was conflict seeking. Like I got off on making other people feel stupid. Like I thought I was just like better than everybody else, that I knew like everything and everybody else was like nothing like me and no one was ever going to understand me, and I would just live in this like tower of isolation forever, and that doesn't work. Like that doesn't work. Like I needed community. Like I needed to be able to talk to people about this like intense relationship I have with alcohol and like where it's taken me, and like I needed to be in rooms with people and be able to say like I should be dead. I should be in jail. Like I should not be here. Like, and like a year after being in that place, I forget that. I forget that that's like that the basic reality of my drinking and of where my drinking takes me is in bar fights, is on a roof, is passed out in my own piss in a train. Like, I mean, like, it's not a way like anybody should have to live, and it's not a way that I have to live anymore. And I thought that was the only way to live because it's the only thing I was doing for a long time. And now, like, a year later, I'm not perfect. Like, I still, like, yell at my boyfriend over stupid shit instead of just talking to him. Like, I still get resentful of people, and I say mean things. But, like, I'm able to see, like, when it happens, like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. And, like, I'm able to, like, apologize or, you know, kind of make amends before it's too late, instead of just walking around burning all these bridges all the time without even knowing that I was the one who threw the fucking Molotov cocktail, you know? Like, I have this degree of lucidity now that I did not have before, and it's really wonderful. And you know, sobriety has brought me a lot of tangible things too, like financial stability, and you know, I'm good at my job. Like, I'm able to be good at the work that I do for once, which is like really awesome, and it gets recognized at work, which is super important. And you know, I'm not sick all the time. I'm not hungover every day. I'm not, you know, having these panic attacks every morning when I wake up, and I'm not running in the circle. Like, I'm not just every day is different, and so much happens in a day, and I'm actually like awake for it, because like when you like boil it down, like I spent like 6 years in bed, and it's like it's hard because like I've lost years of my life to addiction and depression. Like years of my life that have spent just being miserable and not being able to get out of bed, and I'm not like that anymore. Like, today I'm like awake and I get up early and I do stuff, and it might not seem like much to some people. Like, yeah, I go wait tables and like hang out with a bird and make YouTube videos about being trans, but like, it's more than I was doing before, and I'm like actually helping people now, and it makes me feel good. And I have a relationship with my family again, and I can look people in the eye, and I can relate to everybody, and just in general, like, the whole, like, my life has meaning, and my life has, like, even if it's small, and my life has, like, a direction, and it matters to me now. And my life didn't matter to me for a long time, and it's like really hard to admit that, because I know that like a lot of people like find me really inspirational and valuable, so like it's hard for me to talk about how much I hated myself for a long time. And it's just, like, not feeling that way anymore is so amazing, and I don't know, I just feel so blessed, like, all the time, and I even like to cry right now, and like to feel things, and not feel this need to immediately go fucking crack open a beer to, like, stop myself from crying, because, like, I don't know. This is like what makes a person human, and I don't know. I'm sorry this has been like so disjointed. But I'm just doing so much better now. Like my sobriety has brought me just so many blessings, and you know, I moved across the country, and I'm in a relationship with somebody that I love and who supports me, and I live in this amazing city that feels like home, and I really took a lot of chances this year, and I got that bird who like has brought me so much happiness and responsibility and accountability, and I know he's like really annoying right now. Larry! And it's the only reason I'm on hormones is because I'm sober. Not drinking, like I drank over being trans for 2 years, like or a year or whatever. Like I drank over it and did nothing, and now I'm actually doing what I need to do to get better, or to, you know, be me. Yeah, it's, you know, it's awesome. And like honestly, like if you relate to my story, if you see yourself in the way that I used to drink and why I used to drink, and sort of like this intersection of like trauma and shame and like emotional withholding and unavailability and like drinking to deal with all that, like please reach out, like please get help. Like it's okay. Like you don't have to be like that. Like there's a whole other way of being, and like brains are dynamic and people are dynamic and your perspective is dynamic. And you know, I wrote happiness out of the cards for myself years ago. Like I thought I would never be happy, and I had accepted that, and it's a miracle. Like it's a fucking miracle that I'm here right now talking about this stuff. And I want other people to experience that too. That's why I do this shit. That's it. Have a really great Tuesday. I'm doing really awesome, and yeah.